Hello, welcome to Excel Mastering Excel beginner level number 7 or lecture number 7. Basically what we try to do today is to go through the file which already we are using it as a sample in the past. Use the same file or same data so that we are able to see a consistent matches where you can on your YouTube and you can work on your computer with the same data so that you are able to see the same results, and then you can be very satisfied with what you are doing. If you have some questions like what I mentioned earlier, that you can always contact me. We are willing to help you. There will be no charges for that. Okay, going back to the lesson what we had done before, we will try to recollect it. So we have just put in like certain fruits here, so where you can see the total here, average here, maximum, minimum. Just to recollect the formula, we are using a sum formula, and we are using a condition, if condition inside this file is just to make sure that if it makes a total, if there is only data which is more than 0. So for example, if I make a total here, the field looks like empty because you look at the results. With this particular case, if you go back to the formula and click at the f of x, you can see the formula how it's giving the results. Logical test says H11 to H16, H11 to H16. So sorry again. Okay. So if this total is bigger than 0, it's false. So false means it does the false portion. False portion means when you put a double colon twice, it becomes null. There is no value which is captured, so the table looks more cleaner. So here what we did the same is in the average. If I just copy this formula here, we can see the average. It also takes the sum. If the total is more than 0, then only does the average, otherwise do nothing. So same goes for the maximum and minimum. So maximum, same, H11 to H16, if it is not equal to 0, then show the maximum. So same here, if I just copy this formula here, we can see it. If the sum is more than not equal to 0, then give the minimum, so that it looks quite nice in our formatting. Okay, just to recollect the formula only, do not get bored about what we are trying to do. So the more at least I talk, the more you get memorize all these kind of things, so that in long term it becomes very useful for your career. Okay, going back to this, how to make a format out of it. Always I prefer to have the entire table inside one session, and then just block it and then go back here, which all the borders looks uniform. This is how I do it, but some people like to have a thicker outside border for the titles, just like this. Just block the totals, just make a total, then again go back here, do it again, then here again, do it again, and here again, do it again. And then now you can see that there is a quite clear in our formatting how it looks. So basically it's also wiser to use a different color for the titles. Usually I use yellow color all the while for the last 20 years, or blue color. Blue, it usually has a white background text, yellow has a black text on it. And then total, you can always differentiate with a thicker border as well as a slightly different color. And then to differentiate between average and maximum, easy to read, you can also have a different color here. Okay, so this is how you can have a different colors inside this. Okay, basically what we are trying to do, if you click at here, you can see multiple ways of how you can do the border line. This is the bottom border line, this is the top border line, left border line, right border line, no border, all borders, outside border, and it goes on all the way. So these are quite normal, and then you can test it out one by one. For example, you can just go to one of the cell here. Just go to the first one, so you know what is bottom border. Then go to the next one, top border. Go to the next one, try to do the left border. So the way you test it, you will know. But I would like to keep it simple. It's like I always like to do it in this way. Just go back, just like that. So it becomes much more faster, and you're always able to maintain what we are trying to do. Because the important is most the data, is not the way how it's shown to the people. So, okay. So going back here, I just try to clean up this. Okay. So we have covered the portion of formatting under the line session, but it's not the full. Okay. Here, draw borders. This is a very interesting one. You just select what type of border you want. You just click at the row. It becomes like a color tool. So you can select whatever color of the pencil you would like to have it, and then it does it what you want to do. So how it works, you just go back here, pick up draw border, and then that line color, and then line style. For example, you want to make a double line, and then on the here you want to make a thicker line, for example. For at if I'm not mistaken, about 15 years ago or 10 years ago, 10 to 12, yeah, 10 years ago, there was a project I was handling it, and then at that point of time we couldn't get a Microsoft Visio software yet to be approved by the top management to use it for the project once. So we did the entire layout for the plan using Excel file. Later on, of course, we managed to get the Visio, and then we are using it, the Visio, because it's a bigger MNC. It was quite difficult to get the approval from the IT department to use some new software inside the company. But what I'm saying is like with this kind of line techniques, and then later we will see how to make this top or the columns and the rows, the A, B, C, and the 1, 2, 3 into inches or the centimeter, and then you can scale it, and you can even use it as a drawing tool. So it's quite interesting for you to know how you can draw it using this particular case. So you can see the different colors of line color, line style. Okay, erase border is the same, just like the eraser, like a small kid with the eraser. So you can just play around with what you're trying to do. So we managed to erase everything what we did. Okay, so that's how about the border line. I think we have covered all the borders. Draw border, draw border grid. So it's the same like what you have seen just now. So I just undo this. So we have covered all the ways until how to make the border line, how to make the table look simpler. We will go into the font later on. It's in the next classes. I do not want to continue with the same topic again and again, so that you get bored. Okay, so when you want to go back from the pencil mode, you just need to press escape. Okay, now the most interesting thing. Let's say there is you want to have a continuous purchases of these kind of fruits. So you have a date. Let's say it's a purchase. Purchase. or let's put type, and then the fruit quantity. We will develop the file little by little so that no need to rush what we are trying to do today. So let's say 33 2022 is the date which we purchase, and then here we try to put in the type. Let's say it's only purchase or it's a sales. So here we have a table which is called type purchase sale return spoil. These are the type of actions which can happen. So you see, when you have the same type of formatting, it makes it easier. For example, I just copy paste, so you get the formatting right down just like that. So to keep it in the same sequence, I just shift it this way, and it's also always same. This is how I try to do it in the same column, so it's easier to maintain in the long term. Okay, so going back here, we are talking about the type. So the type, it has only purchases, sales, return, spoil. So when we make a file for some user to use it, or even ourselves when we use it, it's better to have a list box so that there is easier for people to input data inside this. So here, go to the click, let's say it is in the home page, you just need to go to the data tab, and then it called data validation. Very important, data validation. Don't worry, we will go into step by step every single menu inside Excel so that everyone becomes knowledgeable. So don't worry about too many things. Just try to follow the classes as soon as we are able to do it daily basis, or whenever we have time, we can just spend some time on it, and then it's useful for everyone to get together. To one of these days we will have a live video session. Okay, data validation. Any value? No, we just want to use a list. The list can be a manual list which can be done like for example, yes, no. So it shows yes or it shows no. That's it. Let's forget this one first. I'm just jumping a little bit. Go back to the list and then put in this as the list. Here you see there is a dollar sign, dollar sign, dollar sign, dollar sign. It doesn't call L11, L14. I'll explain to you why. So here when you look at it, it shows purchases, sale, return, spoil. So let's say purchases. So let's want to do it for the same for the list box for the fruits. What type of fruit? So go back here, list again. Okay, when you do the file, always try to do a little bit extra, let's say 2 or 4 or even 15 lines, so that in future you don't need to amend your program if there is additional fruits which is coming in into the market. Let's say durian is coming in, which you don't foresaw it today, but you will see it in the future. So that always keep additional lines, so you don't need to keep modifying the file all the time. Always double the capacity, there is no harm in it. Okay, so when you talk about the fruits now, let's go back and look at the 6. See, there are 2 empty space. Let's say I just want to test it 1, 2 or 11 for example. Say 1 and 11. Okay, so just in case. Okay, so now let's say we talk about the fruits, pears. So here we have 15 quantity. So let's say 15 0 3 2. Okay, 1504 2022. You see, again it's not coming in. So what is the best way is to go back here, copy, just you see it. Let's say you want to use it for 1000 lines, it's okay to use it for 1000 lines. If you want to use it for 100 lines, it's up to you. You can always copy it. There is no harm when you need it. Paste special. Now what we want to paste special, just the validation, nothing else, so that the data is not copied inside. So you see, when you paste the validation, it looks beautiful. Wherever you go, it shows the same validation. So this is the beautiful part of this paste special. We will cover, as I mentioned, we will cover each and every menu, everything. So you just need to do is like whatever we try to do is like just practice those and then go back, play again, practice those again. So at least 2 times you do it. If you are a very beginner, 2 times a day, 2 times each exercise, I think you can follow the classes very soon and very well. Okay, going back here, same thing. I want to copy the same, copy here, paste, let's say until here, paste special, validation. It comes under data validation, and then here it comes as under the paste, it comes as validation. So let's say kiwis 10. That's it. So this is quite powerful. When you do these kind of things, people think that it's done by a programmer, but it is not done by a programmer. It's just done by one of us. So you can populate as many data as possible. Then you can see the differences. Okay, in some cases then you need to adjust this column. Some cases after you adjust it looks awkward, so you need to go back here, and then the way you adjust it, it looks more and more useful. So before we go, I think one other important thing which I want to touch here is like the date. Sometimes people can end up keying in very funny date. So instead of that, the best way to format a date here is like, let's say this column here, format cell, date column. It usually doesn't have it under the, I try to have a March as MAR in between. So how to do that is just to go back here, date, month, year, or it's better to just leave it with this year. So now it looks more error free. There is no chances for people to make mistake, because sometimes the computer, when you are especially using with the network and it's a large amount of people are using the network, there are sometimes some people or try to change the date setting inside here, or even though there is a IT department to lock it, but some cases it's not locked, and people are spending times wasting correcting the error from March becomes April, let's say 3rd of April becomes 4th of March, these kind of things. Okay, so this is quite important, as well as under the conditional formatting, under the data validation. One most powerful things which we supposed to do it at the intermediate stage, but I would like to do it here today so that it becomes a bit more interesting, why you are learning Excel and how you can become a real control of the data, whatever you want to use it. So here, going back on the date here, it allows the user to select a starting date. Let's say you are starting the file for, let's say, 2022, so you can put in as 01/01/2022. to avoid people or entering garbage inside the system. And then this file is intended to use only for next 20 years or something like that. So 31st 12 2042. So then again I just copy this, go back here, paste special validation. So let's try to do something like 16 April 21. It doesn't allow. You can see it's great. It doesn't allow. It doesn't allow the user to key in garbage data inside the system, so that you already avoiding the error. There are ways we can already show the alarm into it, how this particular restriction can pop up, and then how the people can avoid the error. Okay, let's try another one, 13.4.2043. It doesn't allow. Let's say 16.4.2022. Yes, it allows. So this is the beautiful part of the Excel. It can be made into a calculator for a user, where a very newly educated person, let's say Form 2 or Form 3 or Standard 2 or Standard 3, even can use an Excel file, and then your organization will become much more efficient. Instead of using paper and pen to issue the receipts, which I have seen in multiple without affecting any particular carrier or something, multiple grocery stores or multiple small shops or small businesses or small enterprises, which they are struggling with a lot of paper and pencil and a lot of human error, and people are scratching the head, calculating the things, and it's they have less and less things about how they can use the computer efficiently, so that they can concentrate on the core business, like arranging it, taking out expired goods, all these kind of things. Okay, let's go into those later on. So I think we had covered for today's session. So to recollect, what we have done today is to make a simple table, how to make a format for the table, how to do the different coloring for the table, how to make a list box out of the particular issues using the data validation, how to restrict certain fields with a date inside that. Thank you very much. It was quite nice, and it was quite an active week, this whole week. We have seen quite a lot of people looking at our videos, and please help us to subscribe, like and share it. If you really want to help the community, even though that you don't have the time to do it on your own, you can be an expert in Excel or whatever software. Please share it with the community, with your WhatsApp group or your Facebook group and your Twitter group, so that people who are less privileged to get this kind of easy knowledge on a day-to-day basis can really grow in their career, and then we become the ladder for them to come up in their life. Thank you very much. Please help us to like it, share it, and then press the bell button if you like it, to get a notification, so that we are not using the WhatsApp all the time to remind each and every one of you. So that is not the goal, to use the WhatsApp to remind each and everyone. It's like just to get familiar with what we try to do, and then we are trying to make sure that everyone starts to look into it. And then even though it's not today is required for them to know Excel, but it is a very useful skill for them to learn, and for it's a life saving tool, because we are starting only with Excel. We will move to the Word, Access, PowerPoint, whatever you call it. Thank you very much. Have a nice day ahead. Have a productive day. Thank you very much. Bye.